The new Red Bull deal that makes Honda's F1 exit even more confusing. Success is sweet, but the path there is sometimes long and difficult. The Red Bull Formula One team has been receiving praise from people all around the globe and has attracted an incredible number of followers from all aspects of life, even though it is not simply the drivers that make the Red Bull F1 team what it is today, through their undeniable knowledge and talents. Now, a recent event has taken place in which Red Bull makes a new arrangement which prompted Honda F1 to exit, and they have been left in a state of perplexity. The fact that less than a year has passed since Honda apparently left the Formula One competition, the company has agreed to expand its links to the two Red Bull F1 teams via a new partnership. Since the end of 2021, when Honda was formally removed from Formula One, the company essentially worked as a subcontractor for Red Bull. Even though Honda was responsible for designing, developing, assembling, and maintaining the engines, they are being used under a different brand name this season, with just a little HRC badge on the back of the engine cover to show for them. If nothing else, Honda will get a little bit more credit beginning with the Japanese Grand Prix. As of the weekend, Red Bull and AlphaTauri are going to start the race in Suzuka with a Honda Racing Corporation logo on the nose cone instead of the one that was previously on the engine cover. It hasn't been featured on an F1 car since the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, hence it is being done to create a place for the reintroduction of the traditional Honda badge, which bears the name itself. It is, in all practical terms, an accelerated version of the amended branding arrangement that we had anticipated would take place in 2023, but it will continue through the end of the year 2025 and bring Honda back into the spotlight to some degree. It may potentially act as a soft re-entry to F1 before the launch of a brand new project in 2026, which leads to an overall appearance that is puzzling for Honda. In October 2020, the announcement was made that it will leave Formula One. The departure was finalized in December 2021. Now, in October 2022, it has reached an agreement to have its branding tattooed on vehicles powered by its technology. As far as most people are concerned, Honda hasn't truly departed. Therefore, its absence from the sport since the end of the 2021 season has been mostly unnoticed. Now, one thing is for certain, and that is taking a step back. It may not be that noticeable from the outside, but the amount of Honda people on the paddock has been drastically cut down. The corporate hospitality has been eliminated, and the only staff that remains are the core embedded individuals inside the teams who work on the engineering side. In addition, the investment that will be necessary to construct and maintain the engines will be supported by a new form of the commercial agreement. One way or another, Red Bull is covering the costs, or at least covering them to a greater extent than in the past. Regardless of how Honda tries to spin it, the 2020 choice to get out of F1 is looking more and more short-sighted and dumb by the second. So, over the last 18 months or more, Honda has been gradually dismantling its exit strategy. Honda's generous continuing project, new branding contract revealed this week, and conversations regarding a new 2026 engine relationship with Red Bull are all in direct opposition to the decision stated in late 2020. This might be due in part to the April 2021 CEO transition that saw Takahiro Hashigo replaced by Toshihiro Mibe. Now, there are two things that Honda seems to be sorry about. First, there was the choice to leave the situation completely. It now seems to be an increasingly hasty action that was done to create an image of lowering expenses and to declare that the corporation was focused on a future that was powered by sustainable technology. The second thing that Honda must regret is the continuing arrangement that it made with Red Bull. Under the terms of this deal, Honda gave up everything for no recompense, and it even allowed the engine to be called after Red Bull powertrains. Honda must feel very sorry about this. If it didn't, then why bother placing not just another sticker on the vehicle, but one that really had the Honda name on it? Even though it looks chaotically funny when the whole timeline is laid out. The U-turn we seem to be seeing in slow motion is not a very surprising turn of events. However, the Honda Motor Company's racing branch has no intention of ever departing. As soon as the racing division was aware of what was about to happen, tremendous amounts of work were put into developing the 2021 engine. This assured that Honda would go out with a bang. Moreover, Formula One is in the midst of massive growth. Furthermore, Honda was compelled to withdraw as planned in order to honor a decision that had been hastily taken by a previous CEO during the early stages of the COVID-19 outbreak. In doing so, Honda missed out on an opportunity to establish this period as its finest in Formula One history. In 2015, Honda returned to Formula One racing in an effort to relive the golden years of 1988 to 1991 for McLaren. That true, it didn't work out with McLaren, but if Honda had exhibited the same level of patience and dedication as the other F1 manufacturers, it would have won several championships with Red Bull. Moreover, it has been degraded to a supporting role that Honda must have realized was nonsensical and hence unnecessary. The absence of long-term planning at Honda, along with its chaotic leadership, has always been the company's greatest weakness. Arguably, it has established a new norm for the volatility of F1 manufacturers. Also, the most perplexing aspect of this narrative is the protagonist's repeated attempts to leave, but ultimately fail and then begin again. Anyhow, the success of this season, which might lead to the championship and the establishment of Red Bull powertrains, the division in charge of everything engine-related, have elevated the corporation to the ranks of those to be defeated by the other teams.